What if I told you that the family member everyone considers a failure is actually worth billions? And what if that same person had been secretly funding the biggest celebration of their lives while being completely invisible to them? Well, buckle up because this story will blow your mind and make you question everything you think you know about success. Picture this. It's a regular Tuesday morning, and David is sitting in his office reviewing business reports when his phone rings. The caller? A wedding planner with some devastating news about his own brother's upcoming wedding. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. This isn't just any office. And David isn't just any brother. Let me take you back to where this incredible journey began. 8 years ago, David made a decision that his entire family thought was completely insane. He dropped out of Harvard Business School. Not because he was failing, mind you, but because he spotted an opportunity that nobody else could see. While his family was shaking their heads in disappointment, David was already 3 steps ahead, planning something extraordinary. His family's reaction was exactly what you'd expect. David's going through a phase, they'd whisper. He'll come back to reality soon enough. Meanwhile, his younger brother Marcus was following the golden path, law school, prestigious internships, everything their parents had dreamed of. David, he was the family disappointment, the cautionary tale they'd tell at dinner parties. But here's what nobody knew. While they were all focused on Marcus's traditional success story, David was quietly building an empire from his tiny studio apartment. Those 18-hour days, sleeping on office couches, surviving on takeout and pure determination. That wasn't failure. That was the beginning of something massive. The wedding planner's call changes everything. She delivers news that would crush most people. Your family has asked us to remove you from the guest list entirely, she says. They don't want you at the ceremony or reception. But then comes the kicker that made David's blood boil. Oh, and they'd like to keep that $50,000 deposit you paid. They've already spent it on other wedding expenses. Now, pause for a moment. Imagine being told you're not welcome at your own brother's wedding, but your money is perfectly welcome to stay. How would you react? Most people would probably explode with anger, right? But David had a different kind of power at his disposal. I'd like you to cancel the entire wedding, he says calmly. The wedding planner is confused. Sir, you're not the groom. You can't just. That's when David drops the bombshell that changes everything. What's the name of your company? He asks. Elegant Events, she replies. And who owns Elegant Events? The silence on the other end of the phone is deafening as the pieces start falling into place. Sterling Event Holdings owns Elegant Events. Sterling Hospitality Group owns Sterling Event Holdings. And David Sterling, he owns it all. But wait, it gets better. The venue where the wedding was supposed to happen, David owns it. The catering company, his. The flower arrangements, the photography, the bachelor party location, the rehearsal dinner venue, even the limousine service. Everything his family had booked was connected to businesses David had built over the past 8 years. Cancel everything, he tells the wedding planner. Send them a bill for the full amount, minus my original deposit, which I'm keeping as a cancellation fee. With 3 weeks until the wedding and 200 guests expecting to celebrate, David had just pulled the plug on the entire event. Here's what makes this story even more incredible. David's family had absolutely no clue about his success. For 8 years, he'd been trying to share his achievements with them. When he mentioned buying a resort, they'd nod politely and change the subject. When he talked about expanding into hotels, they'd ask when he was going to get a real job. Every family gathering was the same story. They'd ask about his little business while gushing over Marcus's promising legal career. They saw a Harvard dropout playing entrepreneur, never realizing they were talking to someone who controlled a hospitality empire worth nearly $4 billion. The phone calls start coming in fast after the cancellation. Feist, it's his father, confused and panicked. There must be some mistake, he says. What do you mean no mistake? David responds. The conversation that follows is pure gold. His father still thinks David plans birthday parties for a living, even after 8 years of building one of the fastest-growing private companies in the country. Dad, I own Sterling Hospitality Group. David finally explains. We control 4 to 7 venues, 23 restaurants, 12 hotels, 6 catering companies, and 11 event service providers across 7 states. We generated $1.2 billion in revenue last year. The silence on the other end is absolutely priceless. His mother joins the call, her voice shaky and uncertain. We had no idea you were successful, she admits. You never told us. But here's the heartbreaking part. He had been trying to tell them for years. Every single family gathering, he'd attempt to share his victories, only to be dismissed or ignored. The desperation sets in quickly. With 3 weeks until the wedding and every quality venue in the region already booked, the family faces an impossible situation. 200 guests, family flying in from across the country, deposits paid, and absolutely no alternatives available. That's when David makes an offer that's both generous and strategic. They can have the wedding at his smallest venue, with basic everything, for 4 times the original price. It's a lesson wrapped in a business deal. They wanted to exclude him while keeping his money, so now they can include him in their decision-making while paying market rates. The family meeting that follows is absolutely incredible. Picture this. They are sitting in David's private dining room at the Harbor View Resort, a property worth more than most people's entire neighborhoods. Crystal chandeliers, hand-carved furniture, and a view that stretches for miles across the water. This is the same resort David had casually mentioned buying 3 years earlier, when his mother said it was nice that he was staying busy. The apologies come flooding out, but David asks the question that cuts straight to the heart of the matter. If I hadn't turned out to be wealthy, what then? His father's honest answer is devastating. Then we probably would have continued misjudging you. But here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. Despite everything, the years of dismissal, the wedding uninvitation, the complete lack of recognition, David still chooses family. When Marcus asks him to be the best man, David doesn't hesitate. I'd be honored, he says. The wedding itself becomes this incredible showcase of what David had built. Even though it's his smallest venue, it's still absolutely spectacular. Gardens that have been featured in architectural magazines, a coastline view that takes your breath away, and service that's usually reserved for celebrities and politicians. During his best man speech, David delivers a message that's both gracious and profound. He talks about how success isn't about meeting other people's expectations. It's about building something meaningful and sharing it with the people you love. Even after years of being misunderstood, he chooses to focus on family and forgiveness. The evening ends with his father approaching him on the terrace, asking the question that's been haunting him all night. Why didn't you just tell us? David's answer is pure class. I wanted you to be proud of me for who I was, not what I owned. But the real test, according to David, wasn't about recognition. It was about character. When his family realized they were wrong, they admitted it. When they had the chance to choose pride over family, they chose family. That's what mattered most. The next morning brings 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. The wedding has gone viral on social media, but more importantly, David has messages from his parents, his brother, and his new sister-in-law, all asking when they can have dinner again, real family dinner this time. Sitting in his office, looking out at a city skyline he'd helped shape, David realizes something profound. Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about being strong enough to keep loving them even when they are wrong. And sometimes, if you're patient enough, they figure it out on their own. This story teaches us something incredible about family, success, and the power of staying true to yourself even when nobody else believes in you. David could have walked away. He could have cut ties with a family that consistently undervalued him. Instead, he chose love, patience, and ultimately, forgiveness. The Harvard dropout who became a billionaire, the party planner who created a hospitality dynasty, the family disappointment who turned out to be the family foundation. Sometimes the person everyone overlooks is the one holding everything together. So the next time someone dismisses your dreams or questions your unconventional path, remember David's story. Success comes in many forms, And sometimes the biggest victories happen in plain sight of people who simply refuse to see them. What do you think? Have you ever been underestimated by the people closest to you? Drop a comment below and share your story. I'd love to hear how you proved the doubters wrong. And if this story moved you like it moved me, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible tales of triumph against all odds. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.